So first and foremost, I want to send my condolences to the people of Minnesota and the family of Renee Nicole Good. Um, what happened just now was atrocious. And the thing that kind of haunts me with all of this is that when you look at the footage that was recently released of the shooter's POV, and you look at Renee's face, this is not someone who thought that this was going to be it. This is someone who just kind of thought, all right, these guys are crazy. I'm going to just roll up out of here. And it just didn't go that way. We are living in a crazy time. We're living in an era where it really does feel Orwellian. Like in the book 1984, there's a common phrase of they'll have you believe that 2 plus 2 is 5. And that's what this is. That's what this is. And I don't really have a lot to offer in this. This is very, very much a part of the reason of why I'm basing my project on 1984, because the parallels are just so on point. It's just dead on, and I don't take any solace in any of this. So again, rest in peace to the family of Renee Nicole Good. I hope that Minneapolis finds the justice that that they so deserve. Shout out to the mayor there. Let me make sure I get his name right. Mayor Jacob Frey. All the right energy, saying all the right things. Um, we're talking about what leadership looks like in a time of crisis. This is it. He has been just 150% on point with everything that he's had to say. With everything that's been going on, he's been calm, he's been cool, he's been collective, he's been emotional where he needs to be emotional. He's getting his point across, and he is leading that city the way that city needs to be led. He is the leader. He is a leader. He is someone, I don't know, he is someone who I see right now who is meeting the moment. So shout out to him. Again, shout out to the people of Minnesota. Um, I got people in Minnesota. So shout out to y'all. You know me. Shout out to y'all. And I am sorry that all of this is happening. Okay. Let's get to Doechii and Adin Ross. This this feud, it's so one sided. It's so one sided. I was disgusted when I saw what Adin Ross was doing as far as him streaming and just calling her out of her name. And then just the racial undertones of everything. Actually, I won't even say undertones. I would say the racial overtones of everything. This man is a bigot. And it is just extremely frustrating for someone like myself who grew up on hip hop to see a black woman doing all the right things and some mediocre, fugly white dude calling her out of her name. And that's another aspect of this. It's like, you're not even a part of the culture. And if you are a part of the culture, if you're trying to be a part of the culture, you have to understand who leads the culture. This is a black art form. You are a guest in the house. And the problem with the outsiders, the problem with the people who want to be a part of the culture, like him, like 6ix9ine, I'll say that too. 6ix9ine is also included in this discussion. Basically, you have this is the problem I had with fucking Fat Joe. Um, excuse my French. Hip hop is a black art form. Full stop. The problem that I have with people outside of the community coming into hip hop and saying what they want to say about hip hop is that it just kind of feels really entitled. Like, it's like you're going over to somebody's house and you're just putting your shoes on the desk and trolling them and baiting them to say something because then you get to say, "I'll reverse racism" or something. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And it's like it's really disheartening for all of the artists out there. I'm pretty sure in the sense that this kid Adin Ross isn't qualified to say anything. He's not qualified to speak or say anything about Doechii. They're two completely different species. If I want to hear about NBA 2K and Call of Duty or whatever, okay, Adin, cool. Tell me about what's the best, I don't know, streaming configuration or setup. But it's just like we're living in this age where everything is controlled by advertisements. And really that's the issue here. There's a lot of people who are just kind of like write off capitalism, and please God, do not clip this up and make me the defender of capitalism. But here's my outlook on it. I try not to blame capitalism for stuff like this, even though it's evil, because it distracts from the fact that we live in this system, and I just don't see the system changing. I want to use more precise definitions and causes for what this is. And this is exploitation. This is the evil of the advertising business model. When you go with something that's free, a product like Facebook, a product like Twitch, a product like Instagram, where everything is free, a product in 2026 looks like this. Either you're giving someone your email address or you're giving someone your email address and your credit card. That's it. That's what all of these companies are doing. And you might look at something like a Facebook or even a Spotify and sign up for free, but they're monetizing each of those emails, each of those users for who? Advertisers. And then they're getting their money on the back end. And then if they have a product worth selling, like a Spotify, well, then you're just going to go ahead and pay that $10 a month. And for Facebook, if you want to advertise, you get to advertise. Same with Instagram. The problem with all of this is now you have a whole bunch of people who are allowed to publish whatever they think, and the value gets lost. Everything gets homogenized. And then you end up with the least common denominator of I'm a person with an opinion. And then you have comparisons and feuds that just should never even exist on the planet. One person's talented and worked hard for everything that they got, who's making amazing music, and then the other person is Adin Ross. Like, this is terrible. And I want to go ahead and give some roses. I want to give roses to Doechii. Doechii has been moving in silence, at least according to what I've been like noticing this week. She hasn't said anything. Like, she's just kind of, she put out that song. That song is a banger. That song is amazing. She put out the joint, I think, Girl Get Up. Amazing song, well produced. I love the visuals. She looks stunning. Um, Great track. She put that joint out, and she kept it hip hop. She kept it hip hop. She put out some music, and that was that. Adin has been the one that's been doing all these stupid live streams, and then you just got the coonery around him. Let's get back to cuff him. All of this, all of this happens with associations to blackness. So now you have Cuffham, who's their token black guy, who's kind of giving Adin the validation to do what he's doing. Because if you watch the little music video they did, the Bacon music. First off, the song's called Bacon. Whatever. It's just not serious. You can listen to both of those tracks side by side, and one person gave a fuck and the other people didn't. And I don't know if that's what the appeal is for it, but that's what I'm seeing. And then there was also like people bringing up um how many views each. Like I think at the time when I saw it, you know, Doechii was somewhere in the, million views on YouTube, whereas he was like double that. Meanwhile, Adin Ross and Drake basically like on a RICO for money laundering via a gambling app called Stake, basically taking tips and then taking those tips to funnel bots, which okay, now we have bots added to the legacy of Drake, which is like extremely unfortunate for him. Because now we have to add bots and ghostwriting to his legacy. And then you have Adin Ross, which is also being added to the Drake legacy. This is just the most down badness of the down badness. Shout out to the downtrodden. This has just been terrible for him. Um, where am I going with this? Doechii is the only one who seems to understand the assignment of keeping it hip hop, but I want to give my roses to the men who have been kind of stepping up and defending her. She don't have to talk. She is an exalted, once in a lifetime talent who gets to make the track that she makes, and she gets to just sit safely where she needs to be. She did what she needed to do. I want to definitely send some shout outs to freaking Glasses Malone, the first person to speak up and put Adin Ross in his place by threatening all the people around him, which I thought was spectacular. The company man, Rob Markman, the way he's been covering it, Wallow, the way he's been covering it, like black men have been showing up. Um, for Doechii, and this is what it's supposed to look like. Um, I'm all for it. I'm all for this energy. Like I'm not necessarily wishing like harm to come to Adin Ross because he's not really worth it. He's not worth someone being locked up. He deserves it 100%, but he's not worth it. He is not worthy um of anybody going to jail um for his foolishness. Um, but I am a huge fan of it being extremely stressful, and extremely expensive when you operate in this thing called hip hop and you're not in alignment with the culture. And that's one of the aspects of hip hop that I just hate. And it's a very young genre, so there's no like real hierarchy established, and I don't know if hip hop wants one, but it needs one. Like it needs one. Like people thought that the whole gatekeeping aspect of hip hop back in the day, where you had like street dudes and you had to know someone to get put on, and like back then there were gatekeepers. But the thing that I think we overlook about the gatekeepers is that gatekeepers are usually gatekeeping something valuable. And back then, it was valuable. Fast forward to now with the Spotify democratization of music, democratization of art, so on and so forth. Now we're in a place where it's just like anyone, it's a free for all. Anyone can do anything. And no one really cares about hip hop in itself because hip hop isn't the product. Everything's been homogenized. Hey, you're going to pay this fee and you're going to get access to all the music that ever was. It has absolutely nothing to do about the music anymore. So now the music just kind of becomes this thing that generates attention sometimes, but the actual product is just access to a library. And that's how we get to where we are right now. That's how we get to an Adin Ross where it's like he has no talent. He just generates attention. So he brings that to Twitch. He brings that to YouTube. And there you go. There you have it. The thing about hip hop, though, is that in order to be validated in this culture, you have to be validated by black people. We decide what's hot, who's hot, what's worth it. And that's the part they haven't really been able to crack. And at the end of the day, we're all people. And if enough people organize, enough people decide to say, you know what? We're going to go left, not right. We're going to do this. We're going to do, you know what I mean? Like once people like organize, that changes things. It changes the whole conversation. And I think that that's part of what's happening with Doechii. We've all seen something and now we're all saying something and things are getting really expensive. I mean, you just kind of saw it like, I mean, recently Adin announced that he was donating by entertainment. And once you start Adin Rossing all over yourself, people start to kind of catch the odor, and they want to get away from you. They want to get away from you. So, shout out to the culture. Shout out to the culture for putting Adin Ross in his place. I want them to continue doing it. I want Adin Ross to continue speaking. You know what I mean? I don't want him to do the mature thing and fade out and then come back. I want him to keep on talking. I want him to keep on talking. I want him to keep on generating more content for more reasons for us to make threats towards him. I want all of the black people who support Adin Ross to continue to speak loud, like Whack 100, DJ Academics, um, Cuffin, Cuffum, whoever, whatever. I want all of the nine stooges, all of the people in his circle to continue to do what they're doing because it's they're 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 exposing themselves, and I love to see it. It unifies the culture. It gives us something to kind of sink our teeth in. Like, we can all agree on this. And I love it when we all agree, because when we all agree, we organize. When we organize, we're the most powerful versions of ourselves. And honestly, that's what I want for the culture. So, uh, shout out to them. Shout out to them. I go by 6, and this is all by design. Hit that like button, it really helps out the channel. Hit subscribe if you want us to thrive.